Hello everyone, Saturday afternoon here. We had two days of storm and a lot of snow. Check, yeah, we're good.
Whoops.
A lot of snow. Okay, good. We'll lower that. Now it's sunny, so hopefully you guys can enjoy your day, the rest of the day tonight. Today we're going to be talking about delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification. Just pronouncing it for us.
We spoke about this a few times, but we're going to probably go a little more in depth today.
Now, I really wanted to focus on it because delayed gratification is such an important factor in everyday life. And I was just explaining to Anthony how psychoeducation has been around since the Greek ages, if anything. But the crazy part is it's not common practice. And that drives me insane. So we're going to talk about that today. So did you just want to give a little definition of what delayed gratification is on the example of workouts?
Do it.
Okay, cool. So delayed gratification at the end of the day is the idea that I'm working towards something. But in today's world, especially with the gadget that you're possibly listening to us with, gratification happens right away. Ooh, a like. Ooh, this. Ooh, there's a message. Ooh, sorry?
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. But because there's such an overwhelmingness of it, it has become an addiction.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people talk about addictions and saying, you're not allowed to talk about it. Well, I'm going to talk about it anyways. Because the reality is, addiction happens way more than we imagine. So, for example, if I am going to make a plan with Anthony to work out, I'm going to look at it and right away I'm going to be like, that's a lot of work. No way. Is there anything easier? Oh, there's shakes. But that's not really how it works. Right?
Everybody wants the results for yesterday and not do the work for it.
Exactly.
So the only way to get the results is if you're ready to change, and most people live in their comfort zone, and that's why they don't make any changes. They don't get any changes. They don't get the results they need.
And because it takes at least a week, at least a month, at least a year, everyone's like, well, why would I work hard for that when I could eat a pizza right now and feel pretty bloated and happy that I ate a whole pizza?
And that's the thing. No matter what happens, I don't like to use the word age, but as we grow older, not even that, but as we just evolve, I'll use that instead. Okay. As we just evolve, we should be continuously working on ourselves daily, right? It's not just to attain a goal. Yeah, we want to attain goals. We want to lose weight. We want to buy the new car. We want to do this. We want to do that. That's fine, cool. But on a personal level, how are you getting better? Because when you're getting better on a personal level, and not just instant gratification because I drank my coffee, I feel slimmer, where is it that draws the line for success and progress, if that's the best way to say it?
I think progress is the main word for delayed gratification.
Yeah, no, 100%. Right? And we keep saying this. Practice equals progress. It doesn't equal perfection. And being in one of my sessions this week, my teacher actually said it best. It's, you want to attain perfection, but never be perfect. Because once you're perfect, well, you keep wanting to be perfect and you're never actually feeling good when you're perfect, because you're never going to be perfect. Everybody has their own definition of being perfect. So you're never perfect. You're always going to strive to do more, and that's what puts more pressure on you after. That's what puts more... that's when you just get hard on yourself, and then you turn back into the negative state, the negative mindset and whatnot. So that's why it's just best to always do better. Forget about wanting the results for yesterday, but just keep working towards it, because like we say, when you're injured, if you've been injured for a month, well, it's only going to take you a month to recover. So it's the same way when you're trying to reach a goal. If you've been fat for 50 years, well, tough luck, but you're going to have a long journey before you actually get to your goal. And some people do it in a month, no problem. They lose their 20, 30 pounds that they want. But the thing is it sustainable? And that's what we need to focus on most of, is being sustainable, healthy for not just a month, healthy for the rest of your life.
So that's a little definition of it. Here's a great example of it. You want that car. So you say to yourself, I can put myself in debt and get it right away. But do you get to enjoy that car while you're in debt? No. So if you work for it though, and now you've saved up that money, and now when you get that car, you've earned it, and there's no debt behind it, that's delayed gratification. You worked hard to get what you wanted. And it's important, and there's a reason why I said take out a loan, because there are cheat sheets, there are cheat ways, and these are the things that come with repercussions. Delayed gratification shows us that you can get whatever you do want, but it's going to take progress. It's going to take time. Alan Watts,
Consistent and dedication work as well.
exactly. Alan Watts said it best. He said, when you want to dance, is it at the beginning of a dance? Do you dance so that the ending comes and dance is over? No. You're enjoying the dance as it goes. You're within the flow of the dance. You're recognizing, I stepped on your foot, you stepped on my foot, it's okay. And you do this beautiful movements and all this stuff. That's the beauty of delayed gratification. When you start to focus on the process that gets you to there. And life is a dance, because let's be honest, what's the end game of life? You're dead.
But then that reaches a new life.
Yes. But since we're here on this plane right now, the reality is, as you progress in your life, it's good to know that, you know what? Do I want to move towards something? Or do I just want to sit and do nothing? That's an important thing when it comes to asking yourself, am I ready to make myself work hard for a delayed gratification? Some people want to find love just like that. And you know what? There's a lot of media lies saying love at first sight. Meaning that, oh, you got it. Oh, look, it's there. Oh, you have it. No, it's not like that at all.
Well, you could have the love at first sight, but if you never actually attain the love for yourself, you might actually push that love away, right?
That's exactly where I was going at when it comes to skills. You have to have skills of what it is to be in a relationship. I could be in love. Oh, I love this one. But you're now you're so addicted and attached. You have an attachment issue. And no one's going to stick around for that. Or you don't know how to regulate your own emotions.
Ego.
Because of ego. And now you start to find out that you're pushing away the love of your life away. So there's these skills that you do need to get the attainment of that love forever.
I like that he brought up the attachment, and we brought up the ego. So I say this to a lot of clients, and what we go through in life, the three main pillars, what keeps us on this 3D life that we're going to call it, right? What we see, the material part of life, is there's three pillars: anger, attachment, and ego. So if we can't control any of these three, it's actually going to be really hard to move forward in anything you want to do. So angry, frustrated with the people in front of you, your surroundings.
Angry because you don't have what you want right away.
That too. You get frustrated, right? You're doing everything you want to do, but then you're frustrated because you don't get the results. Then you're focusing too much on, this is a whole different story now, but you're focusing too much, but you think you're doing all the right steps, and it makes you frustrated, but are you actually doing the right steps and accepting who you are in the process and enjoying the process, right?
Well, it's also because you're talking based on the idea of immediate gratification.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like you think you're doing everything you need to do, but you're actually satisfying your ego.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the other point of the ego, right? So you got your anger and ego. Ego is always going to protect you and make you say like, no, you're exactly where you need to be because you're pushing hard, you're driving, but in reality you're dead tired on the inside and you've done absolutely nothing you wanted to do.
Because ego, at the end of the day, wants to keep you in the same cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Wants to keep you trapped in this cycle of ongoingness to say, this is the ego that needs to stay. See, this is the thing about ego. It evolves.
Yep.
You know, there's a reason why Stan Lee made alter egos, right? Peter Parker, Spider-Man, alter ego. And then, what was really great about these books, what I love about these books, is the question, who am I? Am I Spider-Man? or am I Peter Parker?
And that's where you learn who you actually are I always use the example when you do meditation, right? Meditation is your soul expressing itself, so you're actually finding yourself. So then we go back to the attachment part. The attachment, yeah, we're going to get Andrew on soon. The attachment is you're attached to material things, you're attached to people. We're not supposed to be attached to anybody. So yes, you love your family. Yes, you love certain things, but you shouldn't be attached to it, because that's what holds you back to a lot of things. So what happens is, how I like to explain it, I love Chris, but I know that I can't be more to Chris than just a friend. Or I can't be more to Chris than just a companion that's going to be there for him, because our connection, we know, is we're going to help each other evolve. But I'm not going to hold on to him and say, no, you have to stay, let's say business-wise, no, you have to stay with me, I can't let you go. I'm attaching myself to Chris for nothing. So that's what we have to learn as a difference. And I see this a lot with, clients coming into the office, that they can't let go of their loved ones. They can't let go of the anger that they had in the past. Yeah, but it's hard. Yeah, but it's because you're attaching yourself to an emotion. You're attaching yourself to an identity that's not yours. And that's what you have to learn how to let go. And that's where instant gratification, you're not where you are presently, but that's not your identity. Slow motion this. Sorry, I just had to do that.
That was good. That was good.
So what happens is, you got to look back into who you are, and realize that your process might not be the same as the person you're idolizing on Instagram, which might be a fake idolization anyways. So that's why we were saying that, in the instant gratification is always in our face, but it's because it's a fake identity that you're trying to attain that might not even be attainable. So you got to enjoy what's in front of you so that you could progress as who you're supposed to be.
And a really great trick to do that is, once you finally understand the idea of enough. You are enough. This is enough. This cycle is enough. I've learned everything I could. I'm ready to move on to the next cycle. But the ego, as strong as it is, and that's another thing too, I think a misconception is thinking the ego is one thing. There's multiple egos.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, for example, growing up, you are a person. So let's say from the age of 5 to 12, it's called the elementary ego. Once you graduate, that ego's gone. But a lot of people go back to it. I want to remember what it was like to be a kid. I want to feel that. I want to do that.
And what happens?
You get stuck in it.
That's the attachment.
Exactly.
You're stuck in the attachment.
And because of that, you're not growing forwards. Now, as an emotional life coach, emotional intelligence life coach, it is important to go back and finish what you feel is not finished yet. Because acceptance is really accepting, I'm ready to move on. And sometimes we need guidance on that.
You're being so zen in your own body and your own awareness that you could accept and move forward and continuously progress.
And know that you've accomplished what you needed to accomplish. For example, I got the chance to go back and work at my elementary school, and it was fantastic. And once I actually accomplished everything I had set out to do, I was like, okay, what now? And I got stuck, because it's like, okay, but where do I go? That's another thing too. You get comfortable in this level of immediate gratification, or but I did it. I have to hold on to this.
I like that you just even brought that up again, because what I wanted to say is, a lot of us, we attain our goals, but we don't value our goals. We don't give ourselves enough credit when we attain our goals. It's just, oh, I did a goal, next, turn the page, where's my next goal? And you try and start for something else. And I'm culprit for that. Whenever I give examples to clients, or whenever I say things, it's because I've gone through all these past experiences. I've went through exercises, I'm going to say therapy, but it's not, I did my own therapy, self-therapy. I've tried to experiment in many ways. Look, I've been in the industry for 11 years, if not longer when I started training, but I've done all my experiences as much as I can, and I still practice and still try and do a lot of experiments to see what works and what could be helpful for people. But every time I say something is because I've lived it, I've seen it with clients. So I was a culprit too at one point where I did something but didn't value, and I went to another project. It's like, bang, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And we know a lot of people that do that. So when you do something, give yourself enough value to what you just did. You are allowed to feel the emotion of greatness.
Yeah, and be humble about it.
Yeah, that too.
That's another thing too, right? Like, we are so afraid to be prideful that we say, oh, okay, it was nothing, whatever. No, be humble. I did do this. I'm grateful that I did this. This was an experience.
Yeah.
But holding on to something is the same idea that if you leave your arm up for so long, it starts to get heavy, right? And when you leave it there, it starts to bring you down. And that's where it's like, okay, where are you at in life? And delayed gratification shows you that you've accomplished it. Now what's next? But it doesn't mean you let it go. It means you're humble about it. You're proud of it. And like Anthony was saying, just moving on to the next. Let me ask you a question, Ant. Did it ever make you feel like you have to go back and be like, wait a minute, did I miss something out of that?
Oh, for sure. I never really took that into consideration, but for sure if I would go back and do things, not differently, but realize I accomplished it, but that I learned from it so that I can make something better.
Exactly.
That's probably something I never did.
Exactly.
But I probably never took the time to realize that either, right?
Because that's where it's really a progress. Yeah. It's a process. It's like he said, it's a dance. It's a dance, and you should enjoy this dance.
Yeah.
And don't rush the song, but enjoy that the song is coming to an end. Because that's how you really learn the rhythm. And once you learn that rhythm, all these things that come later on are great. It's the idea that, you don't have to have gratification all the time. And when that gratification finally comes, you're humble about it, right? You could work super hard, you got it, and then it's like, okay, I can't eat anymore because if I want to keep this figure, I need to starve. Because if you don't start working out anymore,
there's also taking into consideration that life is life. You're gonna have ups and downs, right?
Yes.
So sometimes you gotta learn you're not gonna get everything you want or everything you work for. But that doesn't mean you need to quit. That doesn't mean you need to stop everything you're doing. It just continue through your journey. You're gonna get out of the storm. It's like Ralph Smart says, there's no bad weather in nature.
Ooh.
It's learning how to process the storm, how to go through, how to live and dance in the rain, pretty much. So that's what you have to understand.
And like we got our first January newsletter, a song called "You Only." Darn it, I'm losing the words. It only gets better when it rains.
Yeah, because that's when you learn.
Exactly, and plants can't grow unless there's some rain.
No water.
Trees can't survive. There's no rain. But when it rains, it sucks. I'm all wet. But it's okay. It's part of the process.
And that's where, living through the negativity, because everybody thinks rain is negativity, but it's not. It's washing away the negativity so that positivity can come through, right?
I'm actually happy you brought that up, because as a laughter instructor / teacher, champion.
Listen to him on Virgin Radio.
Yeah. We always talk about positive psychology, but then you tend to forget that negativity is still real.
Yep.
So the reality is to live balanced life. Bruce Lee said it best. You gotta live yin and yang. You gotta recognize that it's that dance. It comes in and out. And there's going to be immediate gratifications, but recognize that the gratification isn't the end goal, right? It's not coming down to, I did it. It's coming down to, this was a great process. It was a great experience to go to college, get a degree, learn everything I did in my program. It was a great experience to get all the stuff that he did and learn stuff about it so he can teach others, just like I do. That's the real gratification. Delayed, instant, at the end of the day, it's gratification.
So there's a balance, like we were saying, right? There's an extreme when people think that all the negative aspects bring you down, and we try and learn from it, and we don't value it as much. But then there's the other side of the spectrum where when we don't take our victories and our positive sides, we don't value them enough. That still puts an emotional toll on our balance as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it's crucial to make sure you understand that you take in the valuable aspect of winning. I'll call it a winning.
Yeah.
Or a success, or whatever your goal is. You got it, you attained it. Take it in, absorb it, and then when you're ready to take on another task, that's when you could go and move forward.
Yeah.
Not that you just move on from one side to the next.
Because then you leave a lot of
Certainties, maybe.
something with rocks. Uncovered rocks. You know? Turn over the rocks. Figure it out. Find out the experience of it. Because you're going to want to go back after. And it's best to experience it one at a time. Really enjoy the rhythm of it. It doesn't mean you can't do more than one thing at a time. It means enjoy it.
Learn to prioritize also.
Exactly. Prioritize and experience it. What do I want to experience right now? And just go for it. Now we're going to have Andrew come on and tell us his life and how he's finally figured out how to live in the moment. Gratification from the moment.
Let's see if he's going to answer. Yeah, I think he did. Did he? No. Andrew, you there? Yes, he is. Hold on, let's turn the camera a bit.
I like today, by the way. I can tell, so from watching you guys from Anthony and TJ before to Anthony and Chris and the entire spectrum, you can really see the ease of transition in your conversations, and it's really a poignant subject today. It's nice to listen to. I like it. Like I'm not pumping your tires.
We appreciate your words.
It's nice. It's nice. It's really nice.
It gives us great gratification. Value it.
It's not like.
So Andrew, tell us about how in the past it was a lot about instant gratification.
Well, I'd say if I look at life as a whole, if I go percentage-wise, maybe 90% of my life, and only the last 10% has been a little bit of an improvement. I would have been. It's everything. In retrospect, if I can use the clarity and the awareness that I have now, it's that even as a kid, if it didn't happen fast, I didn't want it. But because I was pretty good at school and I was a pretty quick athlete, everything seemed to be attainable with speed, right? But it's just not the case. And I didn't necessarily grow up in a very challenging environment like other people have the misfortune of having. Like my parents are best friends. It's a pretty healthy environment. I would say actually, if you look at the dynamics of my family, the way my sister evolved and then myself, it's like I was born with that little chip, not like George Thorogood, like bad to the bone, it's just like there was something that was a little bit off in me that made things challenging. And then when I look at it now, first, it's like drawn from impulse, or impulse control is poor. And then when the ego eventually is bruised enough, then like you said, you're in this ego trap where you must recycle events and experiences because you're not aware that you're doing it. Excuse me, I'm just going to flip something.
No worries. Just to summarize what Andrew is explaining is that Andrew experienced life on an instant gratification situation, majority of it.
I think so.
Now he's at a place where he needs to take it slower, and he's getting to realize, wait, there's a lot of things I missed out on. I'm going to go revisit it just so that I get that experience of what I needed to get because I didn't get it before because of impulses. And it's important you said that word impulse.
Yeah. It feels that way, like when you look at like a very unmolded version of yourself when you're younger. But then eventually, like you said, you guys, it resonated when you spoke of the ego and what limits you then, because it's like it or not, if you're not careful, if you're this kind of person who's driven by instant gratification or this impulsivity, you're going to recycle unhappy experiences over time. There'll be great highs and there'll be just as equal lows. And if you don't take notice, you will relive them repeatedly. So eventually you'll have pain and you'll accumulate pain, and whether it be actual physical pain or emotional or financial, it's that you may fall into either the victim trap or the, like, you just can't catch a break or you just can't win because it's loss to loss. But like it or not, there's peaks as much as there are valleys in those situations, but you'll associate with the valleys far more. And I'm an optimistic person. People know, like, that's not new. That's always been there. I've always been like, well, I can get some good out of this, whatever it is. But like today I was listening to, I posted it. It's Steve Harvey talking about like his origin story. Like that day where he had like almost no money, checks his messages at a payphone, and he's got his first call to go do the Apollo, and he's just like, he doesn't have the money to get there, and it's just like he gets another call, he gets a gig, and it happens, and he's got no food, no nothing, and it kind of happens. And I think back to when impulsivity and improper emotional
Andrew?
finding myself in situations that were challenging, that I found myself on welfare. And it's like, I remember that day, and when I was listening to Steve Harvey speak, I was like, man, I remember being in that apartment and making that one call where I was like telling my dad, I was like, man, Dad, I've tried, and I've driven around this province trying to find just a job, go to like any sort of interview I could, and I just wasn't getting a call back. And then like something told me, I was like, look, like, I'm going to speak to my dad. I'm probably going to just pack it up and go home. And when I spoke to him, I was like, wait, I was like, why would I break now? It's tough now, but that'll be a recycling of something. I have to push through this now. I don't know what it's going to give, but it's going to be good for my person. Maybe finances won't be any better. Maybe I'll be unhealthy, whatever it is, but something mentally will break, and from that there'll be growth. And inadvertently what had happened is I then saw like some weird job posting about like working in some call center. Okay, nothing I've ever done, but I was like, I just need something. I need something that's more than welfare. So I called the people up, and I kind of like crept their social media, and they seem to be a devout family. And I was like, well, I come from a family of God. I can say that I was more a prodigal son than a man of God my whole life. I can't claim that I was the best churchgoer. But when I saw that, I thought, that feels homey. That feels familiar, and maybe something good can come from here. So I called them up, and I was like, look, I don't have a job. I'm looking for one, and I can be there in like 48 hours for an interview, or 24 hours or whatever. Like, we'll think about it. Then she got a call back from one of their sons, and like, hey, can you come in tomorrow? I was like, okay. And then that massive snowstorm from 2017 starts. Do you guys remember when the 15 and 13 were blocked? That's the day I moved. I remember putting all my stuff in garbage bags. I had 2 or 3 garbage bags, and I'm going to try not cry on the podcast. But I remember packing up, and I was like, it was like a happy and a terrifying and a disturbing moment. But I was like, there's no way it's going lower than I am here now. Like, I'm ready to sleep in my car and try here, because everything I try here doesn't work. And eventually I get there, and they're super lovely, these people. They give me a chance to work in something I didn't really no offense, give a shit about, but I was trying something to be able to pay rent and get out of there. And inadvertently, when I was still on the road over to Montreal, I was just like, again, the storm is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's just, I keep encountering accidents after accidents and accidents. And I was like, this is crazy. How is the holy man or whoever, the universe, protecting me on this fucking road? Like, I can barely see the bumper in front of me, and something is getting me through. And I get to Montreal, I was like, oh my God, I made it. Okay, next. I try and find like a butcher, a barber, and a gym. It's just things that I try and find every time I go somewhere new.
So Andrew, yeah, no hard feelings to cut you off.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that, no, but so this is basically what Andrew's been going through the storm. But when you consistently work through your pains, when you're consistently dedicated, going through. This is what Andrew got, was that something great came his way because he didn't stop. So most people
Always.
stop.
Always.
Most people
Always.
stop literally right before the end goal, or right before they actually might get the prize they need to get.
And I think the major important part to point out is that Andrew didn't know what the end goal was going to be.
Yeah.
No
Because
idea.
sometimes delayed gratification becomes one of the most important things when it comes to having hope. When you have hope that something's gonna end up happening. Because sometimes we want to reward ourselves with something, but we don't know what it is. And so that's why that light is a light.
Yeah.
It's not a figure. It's not that piece of pizza. It's just light. That's what having hope is, right? You got all this darkness, but there's that little light to let you know there is a gratification at the end of this. I need to keep pushing. And Andrew, got to tell you, I'm really proud of you.
And I don't know. I really don't know what that thing is sometimes, and I'm not an expert on it. But what I can say from experience is I definitely went 80% of the way on a lot of things and changed directions in life. And although I don't know that I can give you anything tactile, anything real that came from that, I know that what my person drew from it is magnitudes beyond what I could earn financially. Like who I became is far more, at least for myself. And when you talk about those instant gratification, yes?
I think you're pointing out the reality that materialism isn't the biggest gratification. I think you're pointing out that in real life, once materialism disappears, the biggest delayed gratification, the light at the end of the tunnel, is self-growth. And I think you've gotten that.
You know what's interesting too? You know that piece of pizza, that little thing, that instant gratification, that I don't want to look at the dark stuff. I'm just going to give myself a little like right now to feel better. I find every time you do the little like, you dim the greater thing that's just awaiting right here. Like every time you play with instant gratification, I find it really messes and skews the perception of what delayed gratification brings. So it's like you're taking that carrot and there's like a whole fucking garden there waiting for you, but you're just like, nah, I can't deal with it. Carrot, and you end up getting nowhere. You go nowhere.
What you're mentioning is the reality that instant gratification comes at a cost, right?
Big time.
You can have it, but then you just gained 3 pounds that you lost working out. It was great eating that pizza, but you just lost what you worked for. Whereas if you keep pushing, you will get to that light, you will get to that self-growth, and you're going to realize, you know, instead of a whole pizza, I'll have a slice. And then you recognize you can really enjoy that moment, the mindfulness of eating it.
I'm doing it now.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Wait, one thing. I said I'm literally doing it now. As opposed to buying something that I would have wanted to eat, I want to make a healthy taco instead. So I'm making my wraps at home with buckwheat.
Nice. But did you know that wrapping is really just a Christmas gift, right?
Maybe. I'll trust you.
Tickets to Kevin Hart because of my dad joke, so I'm pretty proud.
That's all right. You got a talent. Use it. You use your talent, man.
Thanks for coming on, bud.
See you guys.
Thank you. And to you guys, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Hopefully tomorrow is a beautiful day like it is the rest of today's Saturday. And we'll keep in touch for next week.
And the enjoyment of the snow is amazing, especially when you can build stuff with it. Go have fun.
Or have snowballs.
Yeah.
What? Have a good Saturday, guys.